Rather than Christmas is over and we've all opened our presents and hopefully we've all got what we wanted, but there's one man that I know is still looking at his stockings going, I need something else. And that man is Erik Ten Hag. Now, as we enter January, we have got new ownership on the horizon and there's a lot of chaos surrounding existing plans that have to be gone through and all that sort of complex stuff going on with the transition of 25% ownership to Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos. There's also the fact that Manchester United might be hamstrung by financial fair play, which is the rumour is that United are going to have to sell to buy. Loans look like the initial first option, but if we're able to offload some of the weight that we've got, and I think Jadon Sancho is getting buffed and polished up right now to go straight into that shop window come the 1st of January, then I think that anyone that we buy needs to be really well thought out, but also have an immediate and definite impact on the starting 11. Now, as always, I've put together a little bit of a short list. Players that I think can come straight in and impact United's second half of the season and hopefully lead to improved performances. Now, first up on the wish list is another teenager, and we've seen a lot of teenagers doing well. Kobbie Mainoo probably being like the prime example, but Garnacho as well. There's another teenager, and that's Joao Neves, 19 years of age, central midfielder, more on the defensive side, but someone that is press resistant, someone that's going to allow Manchester United to play the ball through the middle. And when it comes to being press resistant, Joao Neves is right at the very, very top. He's very proactive, very forward thinking. He always wants to move the ball forward. And if you've watched United recently, like, we can hold the ball all right, but there's just a bit of a lack of an impetus of getting the ball forward, breaking lines. And this is what Joao Neves absolutely excels at. And he also can dribble with the ball. His dribbling is absolutely top notch. He's got a ridiculously low centre of gravity. He's capable of beating his man either way. He's also got an excellent burst of pace, great close control. But that being said, the main thing that you're going to see with him when it comes to progression is his passing. His passing is top in the short, in the medium, in the long range. Not only does he have unreal range to his passing, but also a weird sense of precision with every single pass that he puts out there. He is the ultimate footballing technician, and something that United have really lacked in midfield. And I think even the Aston Villa game the other day, where we looked at what Christian Eriksen brought to the table, well, he's like that, but quicker and someone who can dribble. Like, he's got that level of football intelligence and passing that Christian Eriksen brought to us. So you can already kind of see where he would slot in terms of the team. But that sort of technical ability, coupled with the ability to dribble, with the ability to pass, it means that he can work angles that a lot of players don't even know exist. And he's also two-footed. So he is just an absolute threat when he gets in possession. And despite him only being 5'9", which some people might see as a problem if you had Bruno, Mainoo, and Neves, it very much is a throwback, almost Barcelona midfield three, if you like, in terms of the stature of them. But he's extremely combative, and he's got real good defensive astuteness. Think about like an aggressive little Lisandro Martinez playing in midfield. Very, very aggressive, loves the physical side of the game, has got pretty good timing when it comes to his tackles. And he's actually, again, a bit like Martinez, weirdly good in the air for someone of his size. And defensively, he's a lot better than you think. His size, his style, a lot of people are going to look at him and go, no chance. Like, they're just going to think he's a liability off the ball, but you couldn't be further from the truth of it. I think he's an ideal replacement for Casemiro. He's also got all the tools to sort of play as an 8. I think if he was going to build a midfield around him and Mainoo, it'd be a really, really good place to start, I think. Absolute certified win. In terms of the value, I don't know. At Benfica, you can sometimes get players quite cheap, and sometimes you can actually really have your ass handed to you when it comes to signing someone. So I don't know. In terms of the value, we'll just have to see. But hell of a player, and probably one worth taking a risk on. Next up is a name that we've actually been linked with a little bit. And I think United have got a ton of positional problems. And even if Garnacho looks like he might be able to double up and play on the right-hand side. I think right wing is undeniably one of the major issues for the club at the moment. You know, we've got Anthony, we've got Rashford, we've got Garnacho, all and technically still got Sancho. All four of those players can play right wing. Right now, not one of them is staking a claim to be the starting first choice right winger. And the signings of Anthony and Sancho disappointingly cost us, you know, north of 170, 180 million. We still have a gap on the right-hand side. That's got to be so frustrating for anybody involved in the finances at the club. But despite the anticipated potential for both of those players, neither of them have made the cut. Neither of them have lived up to the potential. Neither of them have lived up to the standards that are set at Manchester United. And we still need a right-sided forward. And as the club looks ahead, I think the requirement for a direct, explosive right winger to bring a little bit of dynamism is extremely needed and very, very, very important. You know, someone that can actually get the ball into the box for our other investment in a striker to actually start producing some goals. Now, Nico Williams is one of the budding stars of the right wing position, and he has got a lot of similarities to someone like Kingsley Coman. He's got 4 goals, 8 assists this season in all competitions, and his stock is continuing to skyrocket. Now, he's known for his pace, quick feet, obviously creativity. He's absolute dynamite with his footwork. He has got the real good blend of balance and agility. He can play on both wings, does seem to favour playing off the right. And he seems to be a creative spark within the team as well. He's got a provider's mentality, which is quite different to everybody else that plays as a winger at Manchester United. And that's why one of the main reasons I think he's worth taking a look at. He's ridiculously athletic, low centre of gravity, an ankle-breaking change of direction, as well as cutting inside. He is good at beating his man round the outside, hits the byline, puts a cross into the box. That's his first move. Anyone that's like been screaming out for that, for the likes of Højlund in the box, are going to fall in love with this kid if he comes to Old Trafford and does that. He plays with his head up, you know, which makes speedy dribbles and extreme close control probably even more effective. He can thread the ball in between the lines. He is a 1v1 machine. He loves taking on his fullback. He seemingly creates something out of nothing. And he's got such a high level of dribbling, but he's equally good when it comes to the likes of, you know, combination play, a little bit of 1-2s, gives and goes. He can do all of that. And he does seem to really favour the short pass, get on your bike and receive it once again kind of move, which I don't think there's a lot of movement ahead of the ball at times with United. He changes that for us. He brings energy. He's a presser. But right now, he is someone that would provide for the other forwards. Potentially sky high. Already got 11 caps for Spain. I think he's certainly one that you should be looking at. And then finally, Todibo. Now, 23 years of age. He's at Nice. Nice. And obviously there is a connection there. And why not use our connection? Maybe there's a loan to be had. Why not use the connection that seemingly other clubs can get away with and Manchester United can't? So let's use the fact that Jim Ratcliffe is also the owner of Nice and see if we can gazump everybody else. Now, we shouldn't get mullered on the price here. You know, if he's available for 30, 35 million, we would get him for 30, 35 million. The Manchester United tax should not exist in this case unless we're absolutely screwing ourselves over, which is something that I hope we wouldn't do. Now, Todibo, for me, is a tailor-made defender for a high defensive line. He steps out from the back to counter-press opponents. He is a ground jewel monster. He's got really good jumping ability in the air. He has got sensational recovery pace and sweeping ability. And the way that the guy covers ground, it's like a highlight in itself, watching him just run back and smash people. It's a little bit like the impact. The impact that he would give us is a little bit like the impact I think you've seen with Van der Ven. When he's at full speed, he is going to catch up almost any attacker, which means that defending those large spaces behind the defence becomes a lot easier. Those physical capabilities as well means he can also go and defend 1v1 out wide, effectively using the strength that he would have over a winger to outmuscle them. His agility is really good as well to keep up with those who are a little bit tricky and want to go inside and out, keep chopping it. He can deal with that. Pretty good at man marking, pretty good breaking play up in wider areas. The moment, I think he slots in for us as a right-sided centre-half in a 4-3-3. He does have a natural tendency to move towards the right, especially if you get a fullback that's going to invert ahead of him. He would suit covering that entire sort of channel of the pitch really, really well. He could probably even fill in at right back, should he be required to as well. Really valuable when it comes to the build-up. He gets involved in real short passing patterns. He can recycle the ball. He can progress the ball. And he excels at breaking out from the defensive line, knowing when to carry it, knowing when to go and play the right winger in with the right sort of mobility, the right sort of intensity. And he's got a very, very useful way of carrying the ball. Loves to fake a pass and then step into midfield with it. He uses both speed, strength, really, really good centre-half. And I think, again, someone that's probably going to be available at a pretty good price. His on-ball game is one of his strengths. I would say as good as Varane is defending the box, Todibo might be an upgrade on him in that sense. Also someone who loves a switch of play, which I think is something that United don't quite do anywhere near enough. There's a few times watching the Villa game where United won something in a channel and then kept it in a channel when you're thinking, just, we have so much pace. Get this guy 1v1 against his fullback and watch what happens. So that could be another area that United are able to improve upon. But there's 3 players that I think all come in, all start, all tangibly improve United. And you might even get them all for circa 100 million. Can we now raise 100 million? Let's find out, shall we? Thanks for tuning in. Give us your thoughts. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.